Very good evening to you, the 17th day of September 2018 in our top stories. Tonight, boxes of babies. Dead babies at Pumwani Hospital.
Nimeambiwa hapa kuna maiti 6 kutoka asubuhi. Na ndio hizi nimeziona. Na wewe unaniambia moja.
Governor Mike Sonko takes action as his version of the deaths differs from those of mothers at the facility. Also tonight, a member of parliament in the dock. We tell you how Patrick Musimba and his wife allegedly stole 1.1 billion shillings from Chase Bank. On the bulletin, sniffer dogs working under the Kenya Revenue Authority are maintained at a cost to the taxpayer. But we tell you why their sniffing may just be hot air. Plus,
we check tickets, confirm if this is where they're supposed to be. This is supposed to, like, right now your coach is number 3.
My Job takes you on the Madaraka Express ride through the eyes of one of the train attendants.
NTV Tonight with Zainab Ismail.
Thank you so much for making time to join us. Our sign and language interpreter this evening is Flora Atieno. Now, in what could turn out to be one of the biggest scandals yet to hit Nairobi's Pumwani Maternity Hospital, 12 infants are alleged to have died in their incubators after the facility lost electric power. Senior officials of Pumwani Maternity Hospital have been suspended on grounds of negligence after Nairobi Governor Mike Sonko allegedly discovered the 12 corpses. But as Charity Mwangi now reports, witnesses say only one baby died last night.
He arrived at the Pumwani Maternity Hospital in disguise, his visit allegedly motivated by reports of the negligent nature with which patients were being handled. His findings, which he shared on social media, were shocking. Sonko allegedly discovered corpses of 12 infants in bags stashed inside this room. The cause of death of the 12 is yet to be determined, but according to reports by the county, the infant's death was as a result of negligence by hospital staff, especially those who work in the nursery. Our visit to the hospital revealed a much different situation. The calmness and absence of dead babies' family members shed some doubt in the narrative. Mothers who did not want their identities revealed told us that they could only confirm that only 2 babies had died yesterday, saying that they knew nothing of the 12. Investigations have been launched to determine where the truth lies amid claims that the matter has been politicized. On social media, Nairobi's Senator Johnson Sakaja questioned whether the dead infants were related to the many cases of missing babies associated with the hospital. The hospital's medical superintendent, Catherine Mutinda, the gynecologist on duty, James Kamau, alongside the hospital administrator, Zadok Angahia, have been suspended. The board has also been disbanded, with Anwar Sheke expected to chair an interim board and Simon Mweke taking over as the medical superintendent on an acting capacity. This is not the first time that the Pumwani Maternity Hospital has been the subject of controversy. In the recent past, there have been cases of the disappearance of babies, cases that have raised concerns regarding the management here. Charity Mwangi, NTV.
Right, and as we still remain on the same story, information reaching us is that Health Cabinet Secretary Cicely Kariuki has ordered the Kenya Medical Practitioners and Dentists Union Nursing and Clinical Officers Council to probe the death of the 12 newborns at Pumwani Hospital and to report in the next 24 hours. That is information that we are receiving in regards to the developments on the alleged death of the 12 infants at the Pumwani Hospital. But as we move on, the body of Maribel Capolon, the 9-year-old daughter of a magistrate based in Meru, has been found 11 days after she went missing. She was allegedly kidnapped as she walked from home to school. The authorities have promised justice for the little girl whose body was found dumped in a forest in Meru County. 2 suspects have already been arrested in connection with her murder.
A mother's agony. The cause of their pain, the untimely demise of 9-year-old Maribel Capolon, who went missing 11 days ago, and whose decomposing body, still in uniform, was found in this thicket within Gitoro Forest. Maribel was abducted on her way home from school and separated from 2 friends in her company. 2 suspects have since been arrested in connection with the abduction and subsequent murder.
One of them has been taken before court, has taken plea, and another one is under interrogation. The first one was arrested in Nairobi 6 days ago, and he was taken before court on Friday, I think.
The circumstances of her death, however, remain hazy, with the Director of Criminal Investigations, George Kinoti, alluding to bitter love, intrigue, revenge. The OCPD's assurance that the situation is at hand, however, did little to assuage the advocates who practice in the county, where Maribel's mother, Carol Kimei, is stationed as a senior resident magistrate. The advocates took to the streets, placards in hand, to demand justice for Maribel.
We want an assurance that our magistrates, our judges, as well as ourselves are safe, and that such a thing does not befall us or any of us again.
Maribel's remains currently lie at the Meru Teaching and Referral Hospital, testament to the evil that can take root in a man's heart.
If you have a dispute with somebody, you should not divert the anger to small kids. You should go straight to the person who is concerned and you consult or you square it with him, but not our kids.
Olive Barrows, NTV.
Now, the body of an adult male suspected to be that of a missing Nairobi businessman, James Maina, has been retrieved from River Thiba in Mbeere South, Embu County. The decomposing body was discovered by residents who spotted the roof of the vehicle and alerted the police. The family of the businessman has been living in agony, searching for their kin since April this year.
As police pulled out the silver Volvo XC60 registration number KCN 336R from the river, residents here were both shocked and eager to find out what had transpired. A body was found strapped to the driver's seat. Police suspect the body is that of businessman James Maina Mwikia, who went missing on April 21st near Rika Market.
The last call traced from Safaricom, it was around 4. So since then, we have been searching for him all over, from the mortuaries, now everywhere, even looking for the car, but could not trace it.
It is believed that James Maina met his death as he was crossing a bridge where River Thiba and River Rupingazi merge and was swept away by the heavy currents.
Jana kitu mwendo wa saa 8 nilipigiwa simu nikaarifiwa kwamba kuna chombo kimeonekana kwa maji ambacho kinaonekana kama ni gari.
4 months ago, 54-year-old James Maina disappeared without a trace as police and close family tried to trace his last movements to no avail.
Actually, the last time we talked, he was still here before he went to the farm, because I was traveling a bit. I was also traveling for the work that I normally do, so I wasn't around for a while. So when I came back, when we were waiting for him, and on Saturday and Sunday he still didn't come back.
My dad is the least confrontational person you will ever meet. He will gladly walk away from a fight. He knows it's not worth it.
Yeah, it's like,
so if anything was wrong, if there was any foul play, if he felt there was any foul play, I bet he wouldn't even have gone.
Following his disappearance, his farmhand reported that he left his hotel room that fateful morning before heading to the farm. It was here that he called his wife, telling her that he would be home later that evening. When he did not come home as promised, his wife tried calling him but was met with no replies on the other end of the line. 4 months later, police say they are yet to find out any indications that Minor may have been killed.
Very unfortunate there. Now, panic and fear has gripped a village in Siaya County after a dead man they supposedly buried a month ago resurfaced. Relatives of Charles Odhiambo are yet to come to terms with his return 4 days after the 37-year-old man turned up in the village alive and in good health. Okokusa takes us to the village, which is hosting a mixed port of mystery, fear and joy after the resurrection of Charles.
Tangu nitoka hapa nyumbani hata sijamaliza 6 months. Sasa ndio siku moja nilisikia nimekufa nyumbani. Hiyo siku nilisikia maneno, hiyo siku nilirudi. Mimi kwa jina naitwa Charles Odhiambo.
According to Odhiambo's mother, incessant messages sent to relatives through visions by her son, directing them to various places to search for his body, is what caused the family to believe that indeed Odhiambo had passed on.
Kuna mama mwingine alikuja kutuombeleza. Sasa huyo mama kufika hapa kwa boma, kufika tu kwa nyumba kabla hajaongea, hiyo kitu kamwangusha chini. Hatujui ni nini kilikuwa kinamwangusha chini. Kamwangusha chini. Aya, sasa hiyo sauti ya brother yangu ikaanza kuongea kutoka kwake. Akamuelezea mama, mimi sipo.
The messages relayed by the mysterious voice would later direct the family to a mortuary in Kisumu, where it indicated that Odhiambo's body will be found underneath a pile of dead bodies.
Sasa kufika mortuary, sisi pia tulichanganyikiwa. Juu mwenye tulimzika hapa alikuwa na alama kwa mguu yake wa kushoto. Na huyo pia kijana wetu mwenye alirudi, yeye pia alikuwa na alama kama hiyo. Sasa hatujui ni nini ilitufanya tumchukue hii mwili yenye si haikuwa yetu.
But 1 month after the burial, the family came to learn that their son was still alive after one of their relatives bumped into Odhiambo on the streets of Kisumu selling groundnuts.
Kaanguka kuonga kaanza kulia. Na kaniambia hata Odhiambo ulizikwa nyumbani. Na kumbe bado uko mzima. Sikuachi, tunane na wewe nyumbani.
According to new traditions, Charles Odhiambo is prohibited from stepping into this homestead until the body buried here is exhumed.
Siku ya kutoa lazima uchinjwe kondoo na watakule, alafu na manyasi kulingana na desturi ya Luo. Ndio huyu akwai.
Sisi hatuna chochote. Hatuna njia yoyote yenye tunaweza fanya tumtoe hii mwili hapa. Sasa tunaomba serikali kama inaweza kutuingilia kwa hii mambo, iingilie itusaidie tuone jinsi tunaweza toa hii mwili hapa tuirudishe huko.
But until that happens, Odhiambo and his wife, whom his purported death has helped to bring back home after 5 years of separation, will have to seek refuge elsewhere, awaiting that exhumation. Okokusa, NTV.
I mean, very shocking there. I don't know what you'd call that, a miracle perhaps. Now, pressure is mounting on members of the National Assembly to veto the President's reservations on the 2018 Finance Bill. The Orange Democratic Party, through its leadership in Parliament, has called on its members to attend tomorrow's sitting and overturn the President's memorandum. But will those opposed to the President's proposals be in a position to raise the requisite number of 233 members? Our parliamentary reporter Kennedy Mureithi has the details.
Lobbying was at its peak, with MPs opposed to the recommendations from the President on the 2018 Finance Bill, seeking to win support from their colleagues. A bipartisan approach is being explored as MPs from both sides of the political divide seek to raise the required number of at least 233 MPs to overturn the recommendations of the President that include reducing the VAT on fuel from 16% to 8% and a proposal to reduce the National Government Constituency Development Fund as well as the Affirmative Action Fund.
Sana sana ukiangalia hizi safari za ng'ambo, rais ameenda mingi hata kuliko Mkenya yoyote. Apunguze, arudishe hiyo pesa kufanya mambo mengine. Pia tunataka apunguze bajeti ya waziri wa Ministry of Defense.
When you remove 5 billion from CDF, you are actually saying, like Mumias West, which I represent, has over 120 schools. You are telling me that I should not build classrooms.
We have a huge appetite for borrowing, and that huge appetite for borrowing has impacted negatively on the living standards of many Kenyans.
There is no reduction from 16%, it's an increase from 0% to 8%.
A WhatsApp group under the name Supplementary Budget 1 was formed on 15th September to rally MPs to attend the Tuesday meeting in an effort to raise the required numbers. The administrators of the group are both Jubilee and NASA members. The Orange Democratic Party has been categorical on the issue, calling on its membership to turn up in Parliament and fight the recommendations.
We are being pushed into a new era of tax and spend. And if we are going to follow that narrative of tax and spend, we are going only as a nation, and more particularly as a parliament, merely support the extravagant excesses of the Jubilee government.
Cabinet secretaries have also been on a charm offensive, calling on MPs to ratify the President's recommendations, arguing he means well for the country.
I would ask members of parliament, saide muna jadiria VAT na other development issues. It is important because we are the one who oversight to see that wananchi get their development agenda.
For us to move forward as a country, we must invest in infrastructural projects.
Political parties have called their members for parliamentary group meetings in the morning before the afternoon session to ensure that they are all reading from the same script. The Jubilee Party is expected to prevail upon its members to drop their hardline positions and support the President's recommendations.
This thing of calling members in State House and in Orange House is equivalent to cartels that want to buy members of Parliament. The President should let elected leaders make decisions, not to command or force or coerce members by calling Jubilee members to State House. No amount of intimidation from the executive and even the handshake will allow the members of Parliament to think otherwise on what they tend to believe as far as the VAT is concerned.
I will look at my diary on what I'll be doing, because if I'll be busy, I'll not go to State House tomorrow for that meeting.
Parliamentary group meetings are always known to provide the political direction to members of Parliament once a contentious matter is to be deliberated and voted on in Parliament. It will be interesting to see the behavior of these same members of Parliament once their particular political parties call them and provide the direction. Kennedy Mureithi, NTV at Parliament Buildings.
All right, thank you very much, Kennedy, for that report. Now, Kibwezi West Member of Parliament Patrick Musimba and his wife Angela Mwende will remain in police custody until Thursday, when the court will decide on their bail application. The legislator and his wife were arrested last week and charged today in court with stealing 1.15 billion shillings from Chase Bank jointly with others. The Musimbas spent the weekend in police custody after their arrest for failing to appear in court last week on Thursday. Ken Mijungu with the details of the charges and why the prosecution is opposed to their bail application.
The two, Patrick Musimba and Angela Mwende, were arrested last Friday after Milimani Senior Principal Magistrate Helen Okwami issued an arrest warrant. They had failed to attend court to take plea and today their bail application was not ruled on. The court agreed with the prosecution to have them remain in police custody for a little longer. The magistrate will decide on Thursday whether they can be granted bail or not. One of their co-accused, Chase Bank's chairperson Mohammed Khan, was however released on a 2 million shilling cash bail. Musimba, a two-time member of parliament, and the other accused persons face charges of conspiring to steal, stealing by a servant, and money laundering. They are accused that on diverse dates between January 2015 and March 2016, they siphoned 1.150 billion shillings from depositors' accounts at Chase Bank and transferred the same to accounts at Paramount Universal Bank and the Kenya Commercial Bank. In the charge sheet, they allegedly stole the money by disbursing the said amounts to Porting Access Limited and iTech Limited without following the payment process as stipulated under the finance policy of the bank. Chase Bank will later collapse. Specifically, Musimba and his wife are said to have removed 409 million shillings, 682,900 shillings from an account at Chase Bank, which was transferred to an account held at KCB. The banking fraud detectives are still conducting investigations into the allegations against the accused persons. Ken Mijungu, NTV.
Alright, let's take a very short break here on NTV Tonight. When we come back, quite a lot in store for you. Stay tuned.
NTV Tonight with Zainab Ismail.
Welcome back. Now, the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission has intensified its investigation targeting Nairobi County Assembly members and staff. NTV's Seth Olale reports that the move comes a week after the commission summoned a total of 16 Nairobi MCAs over the fracas that occurred following Speaker Beatrice Elache's impeachment.
EACC is investigating Nairobi County Assembly members and staff over allegations of procurement irregularities. In a letter to the clerk of the Assembly, EACC is seeking information and documents that will assist with investigations. EACC wants certified copies of approved budgets and procurement plan for the financial years 2016-2017, 2017-2018 and 2018-2019, list of pre-qualified suppliers and contractors during the period, contract between Kensam Enterprises and Nairobi County for renovation of County Assembly chambers, as well as all payment vouchers and payment documents to Kensam Enterprises for their contract. In addition, the Commission wants the Clerk of the Assembly to provide the list of trips and trainings attended by members and staff of the County Assembly, both locally and abroad, for the financial years 2016-2017, 2017-2018, and 2018-2019. The list should include specific counties and conference facilities visited and payments made to the MCAs and County Assembly clerks for the trips. The Commission has already assigned 2 of its staff, namely William Kimutai and Fred Lolkurum, to collect the documents. Last week, EACC summoned 16 MCAs over unethical conduct following the fracas that occurred after Speaker Beatrice Elache's impeachment. The 16 included Majority Leader Abdi Guyo, Minority Leader Elias Otieno, Minority Whip Peter Imwatok, Withaka MCA Anthony Kiragu Karanja, Ngandos Peter Wahinia, and nominated MCA Mary Njambi. The latest move by the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission is an indicator that the agency is not relenting in its pursuit for further investigation against a section of members of County Assembly drawn from Nairobi County despite numerous intervention through a court injunction. Seth Olale, NTV, Nairobi.
Thank you so much, Seth Olale, for that report. Now, listen to this next story. It costs the taxpayer at least 60,000 shillings a month to feed the sniffer dogs at the Kenya Revenue Authority's K9 dog unit. But as KRA officials held demonstrations of the dogs sniffing for illicit goods at the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, something didn't smell just right. Victor Kiprop reports on how the taxman's sniffer dogs are not just as ready as they would be hoped to be. They could not pick out the right smell, leaving a whiff of discontentment in the fight against illicit goods such as explosive making materials and drugs.
The presence of illegal imports in the country is as a result of porous entry points, which in part comprise of compromised officials and systems that are not tight enough. The exposure of this puts pressure on the state agencies to display how they are dealing with these issues. The Kenya Revenue Authority took to showing how its specialized K9 dog unit can intercept narcotics and explosives at entry points.
Due to the current transnational organized crime, there is a lot of insecurity. This particularly on things like drugs, narcotics, and explosives. To mitigate this, we have employed the K9 at JKIA, working together with the scanners.
And all was well until it was time to prove it. Now, this lorry has materials used in making explosives hidden under its tires. And this dog, the one trained to specifically identify explosives, correctly identified where the explosives were hidden. Now, this bag has narcotic substances planted in it. However, 2 of the special dogs tasked with discovering narcotics including marijuana, cocaine and other substances could barely trace the bags contained in them. In fact, one of the sniffer dogs actually seemed convinced that the substances were in the wrong bag. The officials conducting the tests blamed the huge blunders by the sniffer dogs, which cost taxpayers at least 60,000 shillings every month on food alone, on their quote-unquote young age, among other factors. These failed tests notwithstanding, KRA officials say that sniffer dogs have made about 30 discoveries of narcotics at the JKIA since last year, but their failure to discover narcotics even after several attempts today raises questions on the effectiveness of the efforts to combat the movement of drugs and other illicit substances in the country through airports and other entry points. Victor Kiprop, NTV.
All right, very interesting report there by our very own Victor Kiprop. At this point, we'll take a very short break here on NTV Tonight. When we come back, Dan Mwangi brings you all stories making headlines in the world of business.
Good evening and welcome to NTV Business. I'm Dan Mwangi. Now, shares listed on the Nairobi Securities Exchange have lost nearly a fifth of their market value in the last 5 months, causing investors to have a paper loss valued at 568 billion shillings. On the 5th of April, the bourse achieved its peak performance when the market capitalization stood at 2.896 trillion shillings, but by yesterday, it had dropped to 2.328 trillion shillings. Analysts say that this bear run has largely been attributed to the losses and shrinking profits posted by listed companies, as well as many foreign investors exiting the NSE. Another factor cited as having been critical in the fall of the value of the share prices is the uncertainty around the removal of the restrictions on interest rates that were imposed 2 years ago. For more details on that story, find yourself a copy of the Business Daily tomorrow. The government has pledged to expedite the payment of the outstanding debt to media houses running into billions of shillings for services rendered on print and broadcast platforms. Media houses have found they are going tough in recent years due to delays in payment of services offered to the government, despite the fact that it is often considered as a diligent customer. The Principal Secretary at the State Department of Broadcasting and Telecommunications, Fatma Hirsi, addressed this matter during a forum to engage with the media, which was organized by the Communications Authority of Kenya.
I know some of the broadcasters also have print media, and I know that we have issues to do with MyGov and the advertising, but we're working on it, and I reassure you that payments will start coming in very soon, hopefully this week, starting this week, and we will continue to work together, and we will continue to enhance our relationship, and I look forward to your support.
Personally, I've not seen you broadcasters venturing into seeing what next after this. Do you know that even right now, the telecommunication service providers can eat into your market? Whether we like it or not, we have the content provision and application service providers licenses which we are not taking advantage of.
And for the sake of context, that is partly why media houses have not been performing as well as they should in regards to their financial reports for every year, and for the past few years as it is. Now, when you think of the coast as a tourist destination, is the beach and sky diving all that comes to mind? How about whale watching? The humpback whale migration season in Watamu is almost over, and the Kenya Tourism Board says it is looking to leverage on the fact that the whale migration and the wildebeest migration happen at the same time in order to position Kenya as the perfect tourist destination.
Every year, between the months of July to late August, the Masai Mara in Narok County overflows with tourists as they come to witness one of the greatest migrations on earth. The wildebeest journey across the Serengeti into the Mara is a sight to behold. But on the other side of the country, more than 500 kilometers from the Mara, is an equally spectacular migration, but one that is little known. As the wildebeests take the plunge into the Mara River for the greener pastures in the savannah, the humpback whales are in the deep sea, journeying from the cold waters of Antarctica into the warm waters of East Africa. Kenya calls this the twin migration and hopes to cash in on it to grow tourist numbers.
When you talk about a twin migration, it immediately creates a new narrative around the migration, which currently is very well known. A lot of people make it once in a lifetime visit, but it means if you start the narrative around a twin migration, which is just as spectacular, if you're talking about a 15-meter, 30-ton animal, that is a huge experience.
Traditionally, the coast is not that busy at this time of year. August, okay. But June, July, September is not normally a busy season for the coast. Outside of the school holidays, this is our winter, and we don't normally get that many clients. So when you've got something as exciting and interesting as humpback whales to come and see, it gives people a reason to come down.
In Kenya, the whales can be viewed from Watamu in Kilifi County, where they come to breed.
What makes their journey even more incredible is that they're traveling thousands of kilometers, they're not eating. They are surviving on their fat reserves that they've built up over the months in Antarctica, feeding on fish and small crustaceans, and that fat reserve is enabling them to get all the way here to breed and have their babies. Once they've finished and the babies have been born, we have newborns right now in the reserve. Once they're ready to go, they will start that journey back again. The babies will be drinking 200 litres of milk per day to fuel them up to make that journey back. And so now we're coming towards the end of the migration, we're coming into September, and we can expect to see our whales heading back south.
Humpback whale watching along Kenya's coast is now occupying a more prominent place in Kenya's coastal tourism calendar, and the Kenya Tourism Board hopes to ride on the twin migration narrative to position Kenya as an ideal destination country. Zainab, NTV.
Tobacco farmers who are contracted by the British American Tobacco have received an insurance payout of 48 million shillings as compensation for the drought and pests that destroyed most of the crop in the 2017-2018 season. The UAP Old Mutual Group says the payout is targeted at 1,200 farmers in the eastern, western and Nyanza parts of the country. This is the second batch of insurance payment after 3,900 farmers received 180 million shillings earlier in the year.
It's a way of supporting farmers and supporting BAT as well through its Outgrowers program to ensure that when farmers are working with BAT, they are assured that should there be any losses, us as an insurance company come behind them and we support them to make sure that they are able to continue to grow and that their businesses are not affected. So that's what we came here to do. This is a part of our agriculture insurance program that we run, and this payment is part of the close to 200 million shillings that we paid to farmers who have incurred losses in agriculture.
To the end of that story, just says smoking. I'm done. Good night.
All right, welcome back to the bulletin. Now, a career as a train attendant in Kenya is quickly gaining currency, with the standard gauge railway expanding within the counties. The pioneer team of train attendants has been serving passengers for close to 1.5 years, and 22-year-old Sharon Chelangat is one of the most exemplary team players. On this week's My Job segment, NTV's Mel Miendo caught up with Sharon before and during one of her train trips to Mombasa.
It's close to 6 p.m. and 22-year-old Sharon Chelangat, together with her colleagues, are at the SGR Nairobi terminus, preparing for a train journey scheduled for the next day.
Hello.
The expectation is that all attendants must be present at the train station the night before their journey. For Sharon, every minute counts. She must ensure everything is in check. Soon after, she attends a compulsory briefing session by the supervisor on duty. Once all the passengers alight at the Nairobi terminus, each attendant cleans the coach he or she will be attending to the next day. Sharon is manning coach 3 on the first class deck. This is where we find her in the morning.
Hello, good morning. Your ticket, please.
Here's my ticket.
Welcome on board.
It's great to see you this morning.
Nice
so
to
this is
meet
what
you.
usually happens.
Yes. We check tickets, confirm if this is where they're supposed to be. This is supposed to, like, right now your coach is number 3. Your seat number, where you're headed to, if it's Mombasa or Voi. Yes, this is where we confirm it all.
And I like how you smile, even if you find someone who's probably in a bad mood.
No, you have to make sure you make him also get that happy mood too.
Have you ever gotten a passenger perhaps who may not understand, be conversant with?
Yes, with the ticket. Yes. So sometimes we might call our leaders, maybe the instructor, to, explain in details, because maybe we have a long line.
And I like how you angle your hands.
Yes,
There's no pointing.
No, there's no pointing. It has to be really structured and very, nice, and it's at least. Yes, and elegant at the same time.
Okay,
yeah.
So we see you inside?
Yes. Welcome on board. Mind your step. Hello. Are you enjoying?
Yes.
Is it the right amount of milk? Oh, so you've not. Oh, okay. Thank you.
It's interesting that I get to now ask you to sit with me. Thank you for allowing us to come to your workstation.
It's fine.
So tell us, have you always been? I've always wanted to.
Yes. I can say maybe because of how we saw the airlines and the ladies who are dressed and working there and giving the service in the airlines. They're looking so perfect, and it just looks like a very nice, the attire, the makeup and everything. Yes, I did want.
From the previous night into the day, how is it for you, even psychologically? What are some of the thoughts that are running through your mind?
It's just my passengers, a good day, and safety, a safe journey. The fact that I take my passengers and they appreciate and cherish the service that I gave onto their destination that they're headed to. That's the most important.
According to Sharon, the training prepared her for any eventualities that she quickly learnt were part of her job description.
So there was a time, I think we had a temporary stop just at the middle, and nobody told us that we were going to have this temporary stop. So we're in the middle and the trainer stopped and they said it's a malfunction. But before we were told, no passengers are asking, we are late, we have to get there, kwa nini imesimama, questions.
A train attendant can earn from 35,000 Kenya shillings to 100,000 Kenya shillings, depending on the job level. For Sharon, however, money is just a small part of the thrills of the job.
It's not the basic day work, the routine, the daily routine that everybody has at the office, like from 8 to this, from 9 to this. For us, it's different. Today you meet a different person, tomorrow a different one. Yes, that's the most amazing part of it, and different situations.
Mel Miendo, NTV.
Fantastic. Quite an inspiration there. Thank you so much, Melmiendo, for that report. Well, let's take a very short break. Brian Otwal brings us all stories making headlines in the world of sports.
My name is Brian Otwal. The Kenyan Premier League Limited and Football Kenya Federation are investigating an incident where a fan armed with a gun ventured onto the pitch in rage in Sunday's Premier League match pitting Zoo FC and Bandari FC at the Green Stadium. On to matters football, and with the title wrapped up, the quest for second place is heating up with Bandari second on 55 points, 4 points ahead of third placed AFC Leopards. Ulinzi Stars are fourth, tied on points with Sofapaka, who are fifth. Meanwhile, bottom placed Thika United are still stuck at the bottom of the table despite a shock 1-0 win over champions Gor Mahia. Wazito, who fell to Ulinzi, are second from bottom, with Chemelil Sugar occupying the last relegation place, with Nzoia Sugar and Vihiga United completing the bottom five. And the Stanbic Sevens National Series is done and dusted, with Menengai Cream Homeboys emerging the champions after 4 wins, or they're winning 4 of the 6 legs. Budding talented players had a platform to showcase their skills, and as the focus shifts to the Impala Floodlit, rugby clubs, coaches and players reckon the Sevens excellence can be a catalyst for improvement in the 15th side of the game. The National Sevens rugby team's future composition may soon be changed as the young players who blossomed at the just concluded National Sevens series line up to replace experienced players whose time may be up.
Those are young guys who are coming. I think they just cleared school last year and they're coming through the system. So for us, I think all we need to do is just keep tapping that talent. I think for them, they should be able to be called up in the national team. It will be a good thing for them as well. Get the exposure, get the experience, and just be ready, preparing to be able to represent in the world stage.
Series champions Menengai Cream Homeboys, Mwamba and the Kenya Harlequins had the highest number of players making it to the All-Stars Dream Teams in different legs of the circuit.
The combination between the juniors and the senior has really worked for us, and we are happy about that.
The transition in star players was also reflected in the 6 most valuable players at the Stanbic Sevens series. Queens Solomon Okia at Christie's, Philip Kwame of Nakuru RFC at Prince Lou, Mark Wandeto of Homeboys at the Sepetuka, Eliakim Kishoi of Mwamba at the Dallas Sevens leg, and veterans Collins Injera of Mwamba in Driftwood and Leonard Mugaisi of Homeboys at the Kabeberi leg.
this performance and the attitude and everything, the hard work that the boys have been doing in sevens is just going to rub up on the 15th players, and you can get a good season.
Rising player Daniel Tabo of Mwamba, who finished the series with 52 points, was named the top point scorer and was pivotal for Mwamba. Johnston Olindi of Homeboys, who has been outstanding across the season, was named as Christie Sevens' most promising player.
If we use this as a platform, it's definitely a good place to breed those players that you have to look at, to manage the 15th team as well. Well, there's even the older players have shown a lot of mettle in this tournament.
It's a bright future. As you can see, even Division 2 guys are really playing some good rugby. And I can say all you need to do is just keep focusing on the development, put some structures in place, because I think we really need some structures in place so that we can be able to have those guys really developing well, because there's no need having a good talent, then the system messes him up.
Focus now shifts to the Impala Floodlit tournament next month locally, even as the national teams prepare for different international assignments. And the setting of the new world record by Eliud Kipchoge is still causing a lot of excitement in various parts of the country, with both corporates and individual counties looking for creative ways of honoring his victory. And as Gabriel Kudaka reports, Nandi County has taken the cue by planning to name a planned for sports complex and the Kipchoge Keino Stadium in Nandi County after him.
Eliud Kipchoge's powerful sprint to the finish line saw him set a new world record that has excited the world and catapulted marathon running to a new era. And residents of his county in Nandi, also known as the source of champions, are still celebrating the historic achievement. The county government of Nandi seeks to honor Kipchoge in style.
Kipchoge Keino Stadium is just but the stadium itself. And what we want to do is to have the entire complex named after Eliud Kipchoge.
Kipchoge Keino in Kapsabet, we have Kipchoge Keino in Elred. So over time there is a lot of confusion. When it comes to sourcing for funds, even partners, when they come and they want to inject some financing or capitation, they will always go to the one in Elred because it is more popular than us.
This announcement, however, has generated mixed reactions from athletes and sports officials.
Itasaidia kwa sababu wasungu watasema we want to see this place where Kipchoge is come from, na maybe tutapata facilities, tutapata sponsors because of that name, because he is the world record holder.
That is not the direction that the Nandi government can do. The other Kipchoge, Dr. Kipchoge Keino, is also a legend and is the father of athletics in this country. So there's always more opportunities for Eliud to be given, or the other things that can be given to him. You know, we have roads, we have buildings, so it's no problem.
A few years ago, some roads were named after former 800 meters Olympic champs Pamela Julimo and Wilfred Bungei in honor of their sporting excellence. The day after Eliud Kipchoge set a new world record, several people seem to be honoring him differently, and the county government of Nandi seems to have taken a cue by naming this stadium after him. Gabriel Kudaka, NTV, Kapsabet in the county of Nandi.
And three-time Kenya Open champion Shufa Changawa beat Gertrude Tuwei in straight sets to reach the second round of the Britam Kenya Open Tennis Championship at Nairobi Club. Changawa, who is eyeing her fourth title, thrashed Tuwei 6-love, 6-love, will next meet Rose Wanjala, who eased past Sylvia Kivaze in straight sets of 6-1, 6-1 for a place in the quarters. And the inaugural Varsity League 2018 and Elite University Rugby 15s tournament, featuring 8 of the best rugby institutions in the country, has been launched, with the first festival scheduled for September 28th at the Nairobi University. Meanwhile, Mean Machine versus the Eldoret match at 2 p.m. will be the highlight of the opening day, with Catholic and TUK duel getting the Varsity League started at 10 a.m.
Thank you so much, Tabet, and the entire team. All the best. Thank you.
And Menengai Cream Homeboys ended the National Sevens Circuit Series as they began with a win. The DJs, who won the first 3 legs, Prince Lou, Sepetuka and Kabeberi, emerged victorious at the Christie Sevens to lift the national title. The DJs danced to 7 Glory is NTV Sports moment of the weekend.
Menengai Cream Homeboys! Homeboys!
Well, that's the sport, Zainab. We play again tomorrow, but it's so sad that guns are getting into football pitches to bring in results from players.
I mean,
So
that was quite shocking, right?
Yeah. We hope investigations come out and the perpetrators are held to book after that incident.
All right, thank you so much, Brian Otwal. Well, that brings us to the end of our bulletin this evening. But remember, Press Bus is coming right up your way with Mark Masai with a conversation centered on the decision with KFCB making a decision to ban some adverts and red flag some programs on radio and TV and the effects of that decision. Well, my name is Zainab Ismail. Have a good evening.